Is he gonna get banned for it? He might get deported bad. It was really bad?
That's what Chad was saying. They said it was bad.
Rampage Jackson just revealed that his son Raja's mother had been murdered. Rampage explained that ever since this tragedy, his son has never been the same. To hear a father admit that publicly was heartbreaking, but it also raised countless questions. Why share this information now? How has this shaped Raja's life and decisions? And what role does it play in the chaos we've seen surrounding him recently? This wasn't just another story about a fighter's family. It was the kind of personal confession that changes how fans view everything. Rampage's words weren't polished, they weren't strategic, they were raw, emotional, and filled with the frustration of a father who feels helpless. But before we get to the fallout of that revelation, the MMA world had already been rattled by another development, the unexpected news that Syko Stu, who was thought to be in critical condition after a brutal incident, had regained consciousness and was finally awake and communicating.
How bad are his injuries?
Broken facial bones is from what I'm hearing. Missing teeth. Has no recollection of what happened. Incoherent. And then even from the people closest to it now that I'm disassociating with, they won't even put up.
For fans, the update on Syko Stu came as a huge relief. Just days before, people feared the worst after reports of the alleged attack left him with severe head injuries. Photos began surfacing online of him smiling from his hospital bed, and while he was still in recovery, that single image carried a lot of weight. It reminded everyone just how fragile things can get in and out of the cage. Fighters are often seen as unbreakable, but here was a man battling for his health in a hospital room. His friends and family rallied around him, posting supportive messages and thanking fans for their prayers. Even though the road to full recovery is going to be long, the fact that he was able to open his eyes, recognize people, and even communicate showed incredible resilience. But as fans celebrated that piece of good news, attention quickly shifted back to the bigger story.
Like threats, death threats. You know, his name is KT King. He's the one who actually called the cops. And he gave a good qualified statement. Somebody screenshotted pictures and sent it to the people we did the video with.
The tension surrounding Raja, Rampage's emotional reveal, and what it all meant for the Jackson family. And while that was playing out, the UFC world was also buzzing over a fight rumor that had suddenly been crushed. For months, fans were excited by the idea of Islam Makhachev facing Khamzat Chimaev, two of the most dominant fighters in the game right now. On paper, it sounded like the ultimate clash of styles, a dream fight that could break pay-per-view records. But according to Islam's manager Ali Abdelaziz, this fight will never happen. He didn't just say it was unlikely, he completely dismissed it. His reasoning was clear. Khamzat is simply too big, too strong, and doesn't belong in the same division. Beyond that, Islam and Khamzat share roots, connections, and respect that make a fight between them unnecessary.
Но сейчас, отвечая на этот вопрос, я не хочу открывать двери для всяких раздоров между нашими народами. Но посмотрим, у меня бой впереди тяжелый. Был впечатлен над доминацией, думаю, он распределял силы, нигде не форсировал.
Ali stressed that Chimaev has his own division to focus on, and Makhachev has plenty of challengers waiting for him at lightweight. It's rare to hear a manager completely shut down a fight fans are begging for, but the explanation was blunt and left little room for speculation. Still, fans couldn't help but wonder if this fight never happens. Are we missing out on what could have been one of the most legendary clashes in UFC history? The disappointment set the stage for more heated debates among fighters and analysts. That debate only grew louder when Khabib Nurmagomedov made a bold prediction about a completely different matchup: Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. According to Khabib, Topuria would have no chance, giving Tsarukyan an 80% chance of winning. Coming from a man who dominated his entire career, that was a strong statement. But not everyone agreed. Daniel Cormier, a former champion and respected analyst, called that prediction crazy. In his view, an 80-20 split almost never exists in MMA, unless you're talking about legends like Khabib himself or John Jones.
Как ты считаешь, кто опаснее сейчас для Ислама Махачева, Арман Царукян или Илья Топурьев?
Мое личное мнение, не то чтобы там опасен, скажем так, более конкурентен. Я думаю, что Царукян. Я думаю, Арман посерьезнее боец.
Fighters who went through entire careers without losing. Cormier pointed out that Topuria is too skilled, too sharp, and too relentless to ever be considered such an underdog. To him, Khabib's claim wasn't just off, it was unfair. The clash between these two respected voices instantly divided fans. Was Khabib's confidence in Tsarukyan justified, or was Cormier right to defend Topuria? The disagreement showed just how unpredictable the sport really is, because no matter how much you analyze, no fight is ever that one-sided. What made the debate even more interesting was that other fighters started weighing in.
I love Armand. I think he's the man. I think he is the just #1 contender, and I think he should have the opportunity to fight for the belt. He has earned that. He has earned that more than Patty had. He has earned that more than Justin had.
Some backed Khabib's view, saying Tsarukyan's wrestling and pressure would overwhelm Topuria. Others sided with Cormier, pointing to Topuria's undefeated record and explosive style as proof that he's capable of beating anyone on any given night. Then Ronaldo Moicano added fuel to the fire when he said not only would Topuria win, but he would dominate. His comments weren't just about skill, they were personal. Moicano said Tsarukyan isn't as good as people think, and even added that he wouldn't want to be friends with him. That level of blunt honesty caught fans off guard and turned a simple prediction into a heated rivalry of opinions. Suddenly, it wasn't just about who would win in the cage, but about loyalty, respect, and reputation within the MMA community. The more fighters spoke out, the more divided the conversation became. But while that storm raged online, Rampage Jackson's heartbreaking confession quickly took center stage, stealing the spotlight away from fight predictions.
I feel bad about what happened to Syko Stu. I don't condone what my son did at all. Very, very unfortunate. If I was there, things went down, but you know what I'm saying, I wasn't there.
When Rampage revealed that Raja's mother had been murdered, fans were stunned into silence. It wasn't the kind of story you expect to hear during a live stream. He admitted that Raja hasn't been the same ever since, becoming distant and carrying pain that no teenager should ever have to deal with. Rampage said he tries to make his son laugh and be there for him, but confessed that he doesn't know what to do. As a father, hearing him say, "I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't know how to fix this," was gut-wrenching. He wasn't speaking as a fighter or an entertainer in that moment, he was speaking as a dad who felt helpless. For many fans, this provided a new perspective on Raja's struggles. It explained some of his recent behavior, but it also raised questions about whether Rampage should be sharing such private information publicly. The tragedy of losing a parent in such a violent way is something that stays with someone forever, and for Raja, it's clear the impact has been deep, yet the reaction from the MMA community was split.
The full story. Stu's pretty up, I'll put it this way. What happened yesterday is he choked on his own blood.
On his own teeth, I heard.
Yeah, teeth and blood.
And he lost all of his teeth, right?
A lot of them, yeah. Broken facial bones.
On one hand, many fans felt sympathy. They flooded comment sections with support, prayers, and messages of encouragement. They argued that no one should judge Raja without understanding the pain he's been through. On the other hand, some fans were critical, accusing Rampage of using his son's tragedy as an excuse. Some even suggested that going public in such a raw way was inappropriate. They pointed out that instead of live streaming his struggles, Rampage should be focusing on helping his son privately, away from cameras and criticism. The backlash was intense, with people questioning his motives, his parenting, and his decision to share such personal details online. The mixed reaction revealed a harsh truth about the MMA audience. While many care deeply about fighters and their families, others are quick to call out what they see as weakness. The comment sections became battlegrounds of empathy and cynicism, reflecting the complicated relationship between fighters, fans, and personal struggles. But behind all the noise, one thing was clear: this tragedy had changed Raja forever, and Rampage was still searching for a way to help him. Family struggles and personal tragedies aren't new in the world of combat sports. Many fighters have gone through loss, heartbreak, and trauma that shaped who they became inside the cage. For some, like John Jones, family issues fueled controversy and mistakes. For others, like Mike Tyson, tragedy became a defining part of their story, driving them to fight with unmatched ferocity. Rampage's confession put him in that same conversation. It reminded fans that behind every fighter's tough exterior, there are human struggles that we rarely see. But the difference here was how public it became. Instead of an interview years later, or a biography, this came straight from Rampage himself during a live stream, unfiltered and unplanned. It wasn't a media spin, it was real emotion. And that's why it hit so hard. Whether fans agreed with his decision to share or not, no one could deny the weight of what he said. The MMA world often focuses on knockouts, rivalries, and trash talk, but this moment pulled back the curtain and showed the painful reality of life outside the cage. After such a heavy story, fans needed a break, and that's where the lighter side of the MMA community came in. Memes started circulating, as they always do, bringing humor into an otherwise serious moment. The top 3 memes of the week made the rounds, poking fun at fighters, press conferences, and even the unexpected appearance of robots in a UFC event in China. One meme showed Dana White almost getting punched by a robot referee. Another joked about fighters constantly pulling out of bouts. And the #1 meme had fans laughing at a hilariously edited video of two MMA legends in a completely unrealistic scenario. These moments of humor reminded everyone why the MMA community is so unique. Even in the middle of tragedy and heated debates, fans find ways to laugh, share, and connect. The memes didn't erase the seriousness of Rampage's confession, but they did bring balance to a week filled with intense emotion. For many viewers, it was the perfect way to end on a lighter note after everything that had been revealed. Looking at the week as a whole, it's clear that MMA isn't just about fights, it's about people, stories, and emotions that run deeper than wins and losses. Syko Stu's recovery showed resilience and gave fans hope. The Islam vs. Khamzat news left people disappointed but also eager to see what comes next in both divisions. Khabib and Cormier's disagreement sparked debates that will continue for months, fueling excitement for future matchups. And Rampage's heartbreaking revelation gave fans a rare look at the struggles fighters face behind closed doors. All of these stories together painted a picture of a sport that is as unpredictable outside the cage as it is inside. The week ended with more questions than answers. How will Raja's story unfold? Will Islam and Khamzat ever prove the manager wrong and face each other? Will Khabib's prediction about Topuria come true? Or will DC's confidence be proven right? One thing is certain, MMA fans will be watching closely, because in this sport, the drama never stops, and the next twist is always just around the corner.